How did you link with 40?
Me and E-40 have street ties.
Okay.
So E-40 is definitely a street guy from the streets. And my whole influence of how I came to be was from street guys. Like literally, I had a hustle where I sold cassette tapes in the streets. And 100% of our clientele, I had a rap partner named Freddie B. 100% of our clientele was street level drug dealers.
Right.
Who was on the street selling drugs.
Right.
And through those relationships, when I started the label, the first thing I went to, I didn't go to Wells Fargo. I went to the street dudes to start the label. If you go back and check almost the entire hip hop industry, a lot of us got bankrolled by the streets.
Right.
And because you couldn't get a loan.
Bank ain't give you no loan.
So.
What's your occupation? Oh, I'm a aspiring rapper. Get out of here.
So E-40 and his cousins and brother, they some street dudes who financed themselves. They went and got the game from their Uncle Charles, who was affiliated with the music scene around Vallejo that could function around it. And I got the game from a guy named Dean Hodges, who was also a street dude, who was dabbling with a lot. I feel like he wanted to be a rock star, but he really couldn't play guitars or drums or sing. So he surrounded himself by all these music making people, and he learned a lot. He taught me how to run an independent label. He taught me how to make music in a studio and mix it down and put it out. And me and 40 was on the same trajectory. He's in Vallejo. I started rapping and getting popular before him. He's motivated by me, but he's like on a whole nother island 30 miles away, and he's doing it on his own. He's like, I'm getting out there. And I think the way we connected was his immediate crew was literally doing street business with my immediate crew.
Right.
And at the same time, they mixing and mingling, we the rap guys, we in the same crew. And we keep meeting up, hanging out around the same, crew, not really talking about music, or not even really connecting, just around each other. What's up? I seen your tape. Whatever. It's cool. I know who you are. It's cool. Respect. And then it started getting more and more popular. And he always tells the story that he flagged me down on the freeway. You know how you flag somebody on the freeway? We on the doing 55, 65. Hey man, we need to work together. He like I kind of big willied on him a little bit. Like, yeah, okay, and roll the window back. Okay. I don't think it went like that.
Was it the roll or was it the electric?
No, this was a roll down day. It's a roll down. You roll it down.
Yeah.
And that was that.
Right.
We still the same. I know him. We still like family, but we not music. Back then, nobody, man, you don't ask me to use my producer and me try to do a collab with somebody from some. We don't do that. Like your crew. Love your Public Enemy, love your beats, everything, but I don't want to use your producers.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just like that. So fast forward a little bit, we had a big event that we used to do. They still do in the Bay. It's called Summer Jam.
Right.
It was, where the radio station bring the 50 artists out and let everybody get 10, 15 minutes and, the 30, 40,000 people in the crowd, and it's just a big day. So I had done that a couple times, and this particular year, it was 40's turn to be the headline. He's hot, he's about to, big show. And I wasn't on the show that year. Some stuff had happened where I moved to Atlanta and a young group called the Loonies, I got 5 on it, had mentioned my name in a record. And they mentioned this one line, it was trying to insinuate that they were a part of some situation that came my way and they made me move to Atlanta, which is far from the truth.
Right.
Far from the truth.
Right.
And I was totally offended that this record, the line was, that's why the town got rid of Short. And they was talking about some gangster shit or whatever.
Right.
That's why the town got rid of Short. And I'm like, what? Like, we them guys in the streets. We're them guys.
Right.
And you can't get away with saying that. You can't say that. And
think everything okay.
So I was being diplomatic because the Loonies are literally connected.
Right.
I could tell you many layers of the story. Like the way they get in the game is through people that I influenced my guys, all this stuff, we family.
Right.
So I don't go the route of, man, let's just go get these dudes and smash. I'm not even thinking like that. I'm like, we're going to do this the right way. Summer Jam is coming up. That's the show where everybody in the Bay is going to be in the crowd.
Right.
The Loonies is on the show, E-40 on the show. Everybody, we're going to step up in front of the crowd, me and the Loonies, and just say to the crowd, ain't no beef between us. You ain't got to explain the song. You ain't got to just step up there. If you say that in front of them, I'm cool. So I come to the show. They tell me, you know, we can only give you 4 passes short, but they gave me them sticker passes.
Right.
I'm like, I tell my guys, we good to go. I got 4 stickers. So we go to the show, 4 guys go in. I send 1 guy out with 4 passes. 4 more guys come in. 1 guy goes out with 4 passes. 4 more guys come in. We do that shit all day.
Right.
So the Loonies are on stage, and I'm telling the KMEL radio station people, let's do this thing I got in mind. Let's do it.
Right.
I'll hold up right here. Let's go get this and person. Now the Loonies are off stage. They all missed the opportunity. So now we got all this friction backstage. Long story short, not the Loonies, but their manager got roughed up a little bit. We went out in the crowd, watched the show. We was a little upset. And I guess the presence of us and the over-exaggeration of how we showed up and what we did prompted them to end the show before E-40 could perform. Then they went to the scandal of Monday morning.
Right.
They get on the radio and have a comedian, somebody funny, fake my voice and pretend like I called the radio station. And the dude was like, "Is this too short? Man, I don't care if your name was E100. You ain't getting on stage." If I'm like, you know, right. I'll run this thing. And E-40 called me. He had that sort of anger that was not like an angry voice, but he's like, "Hey man, was you on the radio this morning?" I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "So you sure you didn't call up there?" I'm like, "Wasn't me." He's like, "All right, hang up phone." And then however circle back and start coming out about the call and this and that. And then E-40 is the kind of guy, he said, "I talked to you and you said to me, man to man, it wasn't you." Did the investigation, wasn't me, it was somebody funny. And long story short, the radio station was trying to make us enemies. Right. They figured these big dudes, a little Too Short, Vallejo, E-40 and them to click, you know, they're gonna beat Too Short up and
right.
The program director was she was sending around fax machines, faxes and emails like ban Too Short. It was terrible. So E-40, who I give all the credit to, was like, "Man, you know, we got to turn this negative into a positive." Mm-hmm. He really wanted to do that show.
Right.
They really tried to tell him it was all my fault and, you know, we need to be enemies, but we had already had a friendship.
Right.
So we took all that and we made this song called Rapper's Ball,
right.
which went platinum. It was our first record we did together. We probably done dozens of songs together. We did dozens of songs since then. And it was almost like he could have took that bait.
Right.
And just been like, if he would have said, "Yeah, okay, partner, when I see you," then it would have just been no turning back. But he's a smart guy.
Yes.
And that was a great decision because I probably, if she on the other foot, I don't know what my reaction would have been.
Right.
Or yours. It was a big day for him.
Right.
He had spent a lot of money out of his pocket to put this big show on.
Right.
And they shut it down and said, "Well, blame Too Short." And it was just, you know, I always look back at that and I'm like, a radio station tried to end my career, tried to pit me against my #1 ally, and all that backfired because our music is from us to the streets.
Right.
And you're gonna put a commercial middleman in there like, "I'm gonna alter this and I could end your career with a fax machine." No, you can't. So
now that you mentioned that, let's transition. Is that what's happening? Because we see a lot of beefs. And maybe the beef is manufactured, maybe it's real. Because a lot of these, you know, you rap about the proximity of where you grew up. You talk about what you see, what you've experienced. And because you've experienced doesn't make his experience any less or her experience any less. Is that what we're getting at? Because like you said, 40 could have went a totally different way. But he called you and stepped like a man. He's like, "Okay, I'm going to do my due diligence." Too Short said it wasn't him. I'm going to do my due diligence, get to the bottom of it, as opposed to just capping off. And then ain't no turning back from that.
Yeah, a lot of situations that we see happening now where we got injuries, loss of life could have been handled by a phone call from one man to another man, and just what was it? Because clickbait is playing a part. Rappers are using the clickbait to get popular. It's one of the easiest ways to get free publicity.
Right.
Is to pick a guy. You got to play the same position as you.
Right.
And we didn't have social media to call.
No.
So the week before the game, you just start hitting him. You're sorry, you're weak, hit him with the personal,
right.
Your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Now, he's hot when he see you.
Right.
But this is a different kind of hot. They sitting there saying, street stuff.
Right.
And then you got this whole ego thing. You got to live up to it.
Right.
And it's so bad, man, where in social media and playing with these streets and this music, you got albums out and videos and your face is popular, but you're gonna send out a message on social media saying, I'm on such and such street, F you and your whole crew. And they pull up in 5 minutes and shoot you. You just told them where you was at. Like, it's really crazy to me, because I know what my guys did when I was coming up. I didn't do what they did.
Right.
They protected me from that.
Right.
When they did what they did, they said, man, you probably want to go because something about to happen. And they would even tell somebody, man, get short up out of here. And things would happen. They would not say, come with us, we about to go do this.
Right.
Or come stand on the corner while we do this. They wouldn't say that. They would literally say, stay away from what we do because we need you to be you.
Right.
We can't get in places that you get into if we don't have you.
Right.
So you were a guy for that. We got a guy for this other stuff.
Right.
And I think that if a rapper is promoting beef in these days with the social media, you got a crew of 30, 40 people. There's only one popular face in your crew.
Right.
That's you. So your guys do this and that. Y'all done incited some stuff, and then you provoking it with your song. When they see y'all around the town, they only know one face.
You.
And that's why I think we losing a lot of rappers is because, chop it off at the head, man. That's the bread and butter. When you gun down the rapper, you just gun down 5 other employees' income.
Right.
You just gun down school kids' clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Christmas.
Right.
A birthday.
Right.
Dope birthday that was gonna happen. You gun down it. And same thing with jail. When the rapper do so much dirt with his homies and he end up catching the case and going to jail, you locked up the income. You feel me? So
right.
I think that we're not looking at the big picture. When I say we, I'm talking about us in the hip hop industry, of the trickle down, the economic trickle down of these rappers getting murdered and going to jail. Man, you got a rapper that's making 50 grand a weekend, not a month.
Right.
A weekend, every weekend he go out and make 50 grand. That money go to the crew. We share. You my road manager. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You my hype man. You my DJ. We from nothing.
Right.
And all that stops while you go do 6 months, a year, 3 years in jail. All that stops. So I'm like, we ain't thinking about the big picture.
You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button and become an official member of Club Shay Shay, where we do something before 2 something.